The following stream contains mature content and subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised. Chicago. Ask someone to picture the city, and they will have trouble coming up with a concise description. When people think of New York City, they think of skyscrapers, subways, and muggers. When they think of Los Angeles, they think of sun, smog, and traffic. When they think of Detroit, they think of cars, factories, and decay. But for those of us that know, there's only one thing we think of when someone mentions Chicago: vampires. And tonight, we tell their story. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to McStabber Studios, Windy City After Dark, Season 5 live cast Q&A. I am, of course, the storyteller for this amazing group of players, Shanky McStabber.
And I am Relindair, also known as Mama McStabber in Twitch chat. And in Windy City After Dark, I play Jacqueline Duran of Clan Ventru. And for today, I will be the moderator of the stream as far as fielding questions from chat and making sure that they get asked during the stream. Please make sure that you use the channel points to highlight your questions in chat. That makes it easier for me to find as I'm scrolling through chat. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, I'm Mischievous Red and I typically play Isabella Caputo of Clan Toreador.
Hello, I am the Ivy Raven and I play Genevieve Schutz of Clan Gangrel.
Hello everyone, I'm Urian and I always play Roscoe Akers, Clan Tremere.
I am Brad, Timber Brad 411 in chat, and I play Nicholas Bowens of Clan Hecata.
It's your boy Gavin. I play Lamar Cade of Clan La Sombra. Hope y'all doing well today.
And I do thank you all for coming up. Yes, this is actually live. We may pre-record our vampire games, but our live cast Q&As, of course, we've done them after every season. We do those 100% live. The other one that's 100% live is, of course, the one-shots, which we're actually going to have one of those next week at this time slot, Story of Windy City. And your boy Twitch's season summaries are done live because towards the end of a season summary, your boy Twitch in character answers questions from the viewers, which is a chance for people to try to really get me to spoil some shit. But I do thank you all for coming. Please, if you're going to ask a question in chat, use the channel points to highlight if you can, so that it makes it easier for my wife to read them, because chat can scroll sometimes and she just goes back and looks for the highlighted things. Well, look right there. And right off the bat, Unconscious Celestial has stolen mine that I was going to ask first, which is Unconscious Celestial wants to know everyone's favorite scenes, moments. I was going to ask that question, but I guess.
So, storyteller, since you took my job as moderator with fielding the chat questions, why don't you go ahead and answer that question?
Shit, that's, I'm on the spot on this one. Favorite scenes and moments. Okay, I've got to go through ones I can think of. I know I loved the scene when Isabella came into Jackie's cabaret with Jenny and Jackie, where she come in after Decker's child had come and threatened her. I loved that scene of coming in where you saw Isabella and her little bit of a revenge-seeking monstrous side, where she's like, "Oh, I'm not going to kill him. I'm going to destroy everything he holds dear." You know, I love that. That was just a great scene to show that interaction. Let's see, Roscoe, I loved your scene with Tracy this year or this season. That was, I really enjoyed that scene. That was a good one there. Trying to think of my favorite moments because it's a lot of it's scene related. Nicholas, you and Zal are nothing short of amazing uncomfortableness to watch together, and I think that's great. I love that dynamic there that's coming up. Let's see. Well, Lamar. First of all, every scene you drop a one-liner, I think, is great, and you've got your one-liners. You really lean into those. I loved how you handled Capone. I mean, the Nick things, a lot of people like Nick, whatever. I like the way you handled Capone. That was great. Jenny, I've noticed a lot of these are later in the season because some of the best stuff came late in the season. Jenny, your scene with Amelia. Actually, I loved you showing that you were introduced to Amelia through Jackie, but now she's become also your own separate contact. That Jackie's not involved anymore. This is Jenny's going to go to Amelia for stuff, not, Jenny's using Jackie as an intermediate. No, Jenny pulls Amelia and does it, which is great. I love that scene. I see Jackie. First of all, the Jackie and Dredd scenes in general are very good. Just in general, I enjoy those scenes. And for Jackie in particular, though, the balls it took my wife to wear her rose pendant to the Succubus Club, a rose pendant that was given to her, by Victoria Ash, who is a descendant of Helena. And she wore it in the club knowing that there's no way in hell Helena wouldn't recognize what it was. And that's balls. I'm not going to say it's smart. It was balls. So there's my answer. So now I'll let my wife moderate to pass that one around.
All right. Well, I'm going to give a little bit of commentary. I legit, and I mentioned this in our Discord and even in the cast chat, and in the general Chi-Town chat that we have in our Discord, that I chose that Jackie wore a flashy gold dress to get attention. She had a fur coat or fur wrap to show that she's obviously money. Another way to get attention. And then she wore that rose brooch to get specific attention. It was a tactical outfit for Elysia because she knew that she could not have Isabella stay away potentially from Helena's attention. So the best thing she could do was fall back on distracting Helena so that she'd just forget about anything interesting about Isabella. And that's why I did that. I'm glad that Bill was like, yeah, that took balls. I'm like, yeah, but it was intentional. It was tactical because that's what Jackie would do. She protects those that are loyal to her. And so she did put herself in Portia/Helena's sights to protect Isabella, who has been a loyal business partner and even friend for a long time. But my favorite scenes from everyone else, honestly, a lot of the ones that Bill brought up were really good. This last half of the season, there was some really good scenes that came out as we started really getting shit ramped up. And it was really good. Yeah, I absolutely loved Isabella coming in full fucking Sicilian Toreador. Like, I'm going to, burn his castle. I'm going to destroy his people. I'm going to take everything from him. Yeah, that was fucking chef's kiss. Lamar with Capone was so fucking brilliant. No, best fucking shit with Lamar is him and Nick.
I think Nick might be just a little sweet on Lamar.
Just a wee bit.
I think Nick kind of likes Lamar and is honest about wanting to go to dinner with him one night. I'm just saying.
That is so good. With Jenny, it wasn't. I love the Amelia thing, but also, Jenny really delivered some great stuff at the end of season. Dealing with Amelia, dealing with her Primogen representative, Khadijah, to work a power deal with establishing a business interest in Ventru Domain. That was fucking brilliant. And then on top of that, how she handled Tasha at the very end. I was on the edge of my fucking seat wondering what the hell Morgan was going to have Jenny do.
She gonna eat her.
That was so good. Roscoe as a character really came to the forefront this season. It was a lot of stuff circulating around Roscoe. It was dealing with the place where the coterie found Menelaus, and resolving that, which of course brought Brad's character Nicholas into the story a bit. And of course, Lamar took a sledgehammer to it, and there went, everything, because a freaking maelstrom came through.
And as Isabella said, I told you so.
But yeah, no, it was so good. But then also, pursuing that stalker line where, it really opened up a lot of story from pursuing that stalker story thread. That was really good. It's just but yeah, hands down though, that conversation with Tracy, I was dying. I was completely broken out of character, laughing my ass off. I fucking loved it. It was so good. Then of course, I've already said Lamar, Nick. It's just so good. Lamar is so good. I mean, Lamar as a character did some really great stuff this season. Some of it wasn't like big scenes or even, serious, like huge stuff, but it was stuff that led to later story. So I pay attention to that, because like him dropping like he did the information that Jackie told him to drop on Kathy is leading to big story now in our chronicle. On top of that also set up the whole issue with Nero. So yeah, that's just, I mean, little things that Gavin is having Lamar do is causing shockwaves later. And it's really fascinating to watch. Brad, for real, hands down, that last conversation between Nicholas and Sylvester, that you threaten my family, I will fuck up your afterlife. Yeah, that was just fucking chef's kiss. That showed that this cool detached Hikata with basically where his passion really is. And that was good. And my favorite scene that I played with my husband,
was off screen when she yells at me, "Why the fuck did you do that to us?"
You know what? I do that a lot. But no, I have to harass him, otherwise his ego gets too big. But basically, there was just so many, because my husband plays amazing SPCs, truly. Every single one of them feel unique, feel layered and complex, and like they are real beings within the world that we're playing in. And Dread's great. Dread's great. There's a weird dynamic between Jackie and Dread. It's really weird. It's not really a romance. It's definitely a situation of it's very fucking convenient and pleasurable. So it's a very weird dynamic, and it's interesting to play that out, because they're not going to be all lovey-dovey and act like they're going to sacrifice each other for for anything, because they're not. But the I love scenes with Cedric. That's my favorite NPC to play with my husband with. For real. So I'll let it go around the table. Who's next? And it can be the same, or it can be something else that you noticed.
I'll go next, so none of mine are taken anymore, because a lot of them have already been taken, because they're really good moments. For Jackie, I really liked it when she threatened Nero, and like that whole conversation. That was amazing. Just like in the middle of the club, like just having a showdown that no one else even noticed. Was great. I really like the scene the last episode with Ginny and Tasha with the steer, like what she's gonna do. I think the other one that hasn't been mentioned yet, though, is some of the scenes you've had with Gabriella and like kind of the planning, what you're gonna do with Power Bottom. um, those have been good as well. For Roscoe, I really like the shopping trip scene where you're just kind of going through and talking about some of the things that you've purchased and just gathering that information about the shopping trip scene between like both you and with you and Nick was just good. Um, for Nick, I really liked the scenes where you're just talking with your sister, period. Just like kind of getting that extra glimpse about like what's going on there. Uh and just seeing how much he cares for her is it adds that extra layer to who Nick is. And then Lamar, of course, you and your sledgehammer. For the love of God. Uh I that scene still like gets me about how you're just like, okay, we're gonna destroy this altar that we have no idea what's gonna happen with it. And
then
just,
later he destroys a freaking gangster's car.
yeah. He knew what would happen with that though. Like he knew he was gonna get kidnapped. That's kind of why he did it. The first time he's like, what's this thing do? Whack. Um yeah, it was great. And it was such a Lamar thing to do. Like Lamar doesn't care. Like he's gonna do what he does. As far as my favorite scene with Isabella, I like the one a lot, like kind of planning for Decker, but I also liked just like the interaction she had with Julia, kind of where she was told about the Tessa thing. Just like that whole thing kind of showing that tension between her and Decker through that third party and how like it comes through even if it's not directly them interacting. I couldn't even imagine having the two of them in a room at this point. That'd be wild. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Everybody step up. Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, since we're Simi going just around the table, it seems like I'll just go. So just quickly for myself, I really enjoyed the scenes with Evan. I enjoyed the scenes with Frank, my actual ghoul. Evan always feels, it's kind of funny because like I'll be feeling kind of wonky, and then if I have a scene with Evan, I come out of it feeling very like bubbly and effervescent, if that makes sense. So like we went, because I had the short scene with Evan in episode 9, I think it was, and I kind of came out kind of goofy, and I had the scene where I walked in, I'm like, don't everybody say hello at once or whatever, because it was kind of it felt dead. I know Jackie was having trouble unmuting herself, but I was like, don't everybody say hello at once, but Evan always, every time I do a scene with Shanky when he's playing Evan, it makes me feel like Ginny is more human, if that makes sense, because he's kind of just goofy, but like he's also very grounded in his thing. And dealing with Frank kind of reiterates the fact that she is very money focused. What was it? I had scenes for other people. It was nice seeing Roscoe step up this season. No offense.
None taken.
To do more than just being like, let me get my rope out and track, your stuff with the stalker has been interesting, even though now we're all going like, oh oof, that's a huge order of oof. Lamar is always great with the one-liners, of course, but I know he's hit this, it's all of those little things, because at the end of the day, what he's doing is still going after being like the kingpin of the South Side. He's just being more direct about it, but not as obviously direct about it, by saying, fuck it, I'm going to go smash, this dude's car and see what comes out of it, which I thought was actually good, because he's showing he's chasing what he wants to go for without saying I'm chasing what I'm going for. Because like for me, I've obviously said I'm stalking Bobby. Everyone knows I'm stalking Bobby at this point, but Lamar is not saying I'm doing this to set myself up. I don't know. Yeah. Let's see. Crap. I had other scenes for people. I'm trying to remember all the scenes. My problem is my memory is shit. Let's see. What was it? I don't know. Bill Shanky's his plethora of characters is always fucking awesome and amazing. Seeing him switch characters and juggling, even in this season, he did a lot of like juggling two characters at once, and it didn't come off as feeling like the same character both times, if that makes sense. Like when he was doing Dread and Damien at the same time with the Jackie and Lamar scene in the season finale, they felt like different characters, which was nice. Isabella being like scared shitless when she had to go back and sees Portia standing next to Annabelle, and being like, well, I hope this doesn't fuck me in the ass. That was pretty cool. I thought that was great personally. Shit. Was that in season? No, that was this season.
It was this season.
Sorry. When Nicholas showed compassion to the dying like guard at the pharmaceutical building, because he comes off as very cold and like, whatever, interesting and stuff, whatever. But like he does care, but it's always the care comes out in very specific ways around very specific things. Who have I not? I don't know. I'm sorry. Jackie is, of course, she's the fucking queen of like spin this shit so that it works out amazing for everybody. So like it's hard for me to say like, oh, this scene, because Jackie does do a ton of facilitating. I know I did a lot of like me and Shanky scenes where between me and an NPC or an SPC, but like Jackie is always doing stuff for other people, as it were. And so it's hard for me to say, oh, this scene. And so I apologize. That's kind of a cop out, but that's
No,
what I got.
I appreciate
Actually,
that you recognize that.
I want to
though.
comment on that one. The way Verlin has been playing Jackie is it's showing the difference between a support-in character and a supportive character. She is very much a supportive character. The other coterie members go to her and she facilitates without being a supporting character. She still does her thing and she still takes her limelight. But at the same time, she supports whatever the coterie comes up with. Almost. The spooky shit, she's like, no, you deal with your own shit.
That's not in my wheelhouse.
That's not her wheelhouse. She's very supportive as a character, as opposed to being, because, supporting characters normally, they do less of their story and more of helping others do their story. She is very much a supportive character where her story is sometimes helping the others to do what they're trying to do. So that's good that you point that out, because yes, she's, as a character, she's very supportive rather than supporting. So I guess let's go to the Lance next. There, Yuri and Roscoe down there.
All right. Well, I love Ginny's scenes with Evan, where she's just endlessly blocking him from like pretty much anything that he's going to enjoy doing. I mean, those scenes are always great, and I also love the way she deals with Bobby Powerbottom. She's just going to get that guy.
Name will never not be funny.
That's right.
I am not going to refer to him as that ever.
Well, we will.
Then he'll always refer to him as that when he doesn't mean to.
My brain will short circuit, and I'll start referring to that when I don't mean to, and we can't have that.
For Lamar, well, almost every scene, because but I love the when we were down in the bottom of that that pit, and he just casually takes a sledgehammer. It's like, oh, we're just gonna knock this thing down. Whack. And all hell breaks loose, literally. And then I'm hoping when he goes after the car with him, like, man, maybe I hope there's a little power left from that explosion left in the sledgehammer that just like blows the fuck out of that car when he's just meaning.
Crossed my mind. Bunch of spirits come firing out of the sledgehammer when he hit it. I thought about it, but I was like, okay, that will put too much humor into a scene that Lamar is being very serious about fucking up a car.
But he would have handled it great no matter what. With Miss Nicholas, I love the scenes with him and Zell, just the awkwardness between them. That
feels real when those two get going. It really does.
It really does. Yeah, and Isabella with her, just the Toreador on fire. Like, I am going to scorch the earth, and I loved it. And Jackie, I love her scenes with Dredd because it counters the hard side that we see most of the time, where she's protecting the rest of the coterie or looking out for other people. So that those are kind of my favorites.
Thank you. Yeah, with her, she does get a little bit softer with him because that's her doing something for herself. instead of for everyone else. So I'm glad you noticed that.
I guess it's Nicholas's turn, huh?
Yes. So my favorite thing with Lamar is how they started off very like almost antagonistic towards each other. Well, it's more like Nicholas being indifferent and Lamar being like, wait, what the fuck? And then him giving the skull to Nicholas was very much one of those, like Lamar was kind of set, or Gavin was setting up, him taking his collection, and it was just sort of like that olive branch, which then I feel it's been, as much as I love the sledgehammer, and that may or may not come up in the future. uh I absolutely loved with just that little, kind of like welcome to the team sort of thing. uh, Roscoe, I fucking love the Tracy scene. Like, I hate Tremere, and now I fucking love one. So, like, that whole fucking scene was just amazing because him being sus and then Tracy being like, dude, what the fuck is your problem? Uh, I'm fucking there for it. Uh, Jenny, I like how she lets Nicholas kind of just do his thing when it comes, like, he always makes these references about throwing people out of windows, because obviously Nicholas has seen a different side of her in Vegas, but that's always what he goes for. And she just kind of like, that's not all I do, but that's like, she just kind of humors Nicholas, where it's like his kind of version of making a joke. And I love it. Also, scenes with Evan is fucking amazing. Um, Isabella, again, it's gonna be that fire, especially for Nicholas as a character being, um, because he sees a sister. It's kind of one of those, like, he's got like that extra sort of connection, where it's just like, I don't know who shit we're about to burn down, but I'm here for it. So, it, and then Jackie, just the sort of, like, maternal's not the right word, but I think that's the best way I can describe it, where it's when Nicholas kind of goes to her, like, she's always kind of the sort of relationship when he needs something sort of like at a moment's notice, he knows he can rely on her. And so it's like when, and obviously, the Etienne as an extension of that. But just, and how it's even reciprocated when, she hands her stuff to him. Like, I like that sort of building dynamic, which I'm sure will continue in a different sense next season when we maybe get to have some conversations.
That'll be fun.
And then Shanky, I mean, I have to say, it just completely, um, you know, what everyone said about just making the SPCs feel different. And then, like, in that Dread and Damien scene, it's just bouncing two very different antagonistic personalities so well.
There's a history between those two that I think may come up season 6. It's linked to that ring that we're looking for. That's tied to the Damien and Dread interplay that you saw.
All right, so Gavin, your turn.
Well, I mean, so many scenes this season, and you guys have touched on a lot of them. But in general, anytime like Jackie's with Dread, yes, it shows a softer side of her, but also she just feels she is constantly schooling this man. Like, every time, like, he'll say something, she's like, that's because of this, right? And he's like, no, that's not possible. She's like, oh no, yes it is. Let me tell you why. And it's like, Jackie owns, like, every scene she's in with someone, with and especially with the SPCs, like, she always manages to put something out there that surprises them, and even if they don't comment on it, you can kind of see, like, oh, okay, I don't know how you knew that, but I'm gonna take that and run with it. but it's always great to just, especially with Dread, just to watch her be like, yeah, that's because of this. No, it's like, okay, you have that about half right. Let me fill you in. Let me school you, you know. And it's always just great because I'm watching, I'm like, sometimes I wonder how these people got these jobs and why Jackie is not an Archon already.
Dredd is
Because-
politically savvy, but he's kept out of the city.
Which
So
is
he
very
lacks
true.
whole halves of the information that Jackie doesn't lack. He would do a lot better at assessing things if he was in the city, which he's not
Mhm.
supposed to be, because him and Jackson have some issues. Well, the
Yeah.
Wolfpack and Jackson have issues.
But yeah, when Jackie drops the knowledge bomb, it's like, all right, just very subtly taking notes here on my in my word pad or on my my screen because it's just great to watch. Um Isabella is so such a Toreador, and I love it. It's like when you offend a Toreador, it's like I just nail down the like two things you want to keep because you're gonna lose everything else somehow. And even then, those things that are nailed down are probably still getting taken away from you. But yeah, when Isabella walked in, it was like, do you want to play a game? And I got some real Saw vibes, although I was more afraid of her than Jigsaw because, you know, Jigsaw puts you in a trap and you might survive, but if a Toreador puts you in a trap, well, just saw off your leg. Just saw off your leg to start, and maybe you get out. I feel like Ginny has proven herself the most solid member of the coterie in terms of like backing people up, because you know the Cage Schutz blender move is 100% great, but you know Ginny's always like, you know, if you need something, I'm there. And it's whether it's financially or, you know, physically, Ginny has proven that she's down, you know, she's down for whatever, and Lamar appreciates that on such a big level, and I hope that we get to do a little bit more with that next season. um Nicholas and Lamar, I wasn't sure how they were gonna how it was gonna go between them, but you know, once he kind of proved himself, it was like, all right, cool. It's like, you creepy, but I like you. And the whole, you know, the entire thing with the altar, you know, it's like this could be, it's like, you know, we need to break it and release these people, and Lamar just goes, all right, hold on, I got something for that. And it's like, yeah, this is probably it's like in Lamar's head, it was like, yeah, this is probably a bad idea, but also I don't give a shit. And he just, you know, and then Isabella's like, I told you. It's like, oh, like you weren't standing right there. Like you weren't standing right there, like, you know, watching us. It's like you were encouraging us, even if you weren't encouraging us. But
He's gonna let fools be fools, okay?
I would say Isabella seems like the type to give you just enough rope to hang yourself on when you go and do something stupid. She's like, I'm just going to watch this, let it unfold, and then let you know you did dumb.
Oh, she sees the fucking the clusterfuck coming, and she's just here with the popcorn, waiting to watch.
That's a Toreador.
Yep.
That's the reason why she didn't climb up the ladder. She wanted to see what was gonna happen, but she wasn't gonna do it.
But yeah, Nicholas is also coming online and, you know, becoming one of the, you know, the more solid members of the coterie. Even if Lamar's like, I'm not, it's like, sometimes I'm not sure about what you do, but you're still part of the group, so you're good. And Roscoe, what can, you know, Lamar and Roscoe, at first it was very much a, so we're cool, right? I mean, I know I like killed some people you knew and stuff, and we're cool, right? But now, you know, in terms of like blood magic and whatnot, Roscoe's Lamar's go-to. He's that guy, and anybody who has beef with Roscoe has beef with Lamar. So yeah, like anybody who's messing, you know, Lamar's like, literally, I will hide a body for you, or better yet, I will, you know, take pieces of it and put it around the city just to make sure people get the message. Don't mess with this guy. But yeah, like just the stuff, you know, just the stuff where Lamar and Roscoe are plotting to go out there to the you know, the cabin in the woods, and it's like, all right, we're gonna go here. We don't have an actual plan, but I got your back the whole way, man. I got your back the whole way. It's like, oh, someone threatened you? You need me to kill him? You want to make him disappear? Like, and Roscoe's like, no, dude, you don't have to go that far. But it's like, thank you. I'll just keep that in mind.
Let's be for real though. Lamar is legit that guy for like everybody in the coterie. Oh, there's a
That's
problem.
true.
You need me to kill somebody?
Does it need to be shot, stabbed, or hit with a sledgehammer? I'm your man.
I know how to ward against mages. It's called lots of bullets.
Yeah,
You said
war
that.
versus fuck this. Yep. And of course Shanky, which is like every scene that you do with the SPCs, like everyone said, they never feel like the same character. And just watching Damien and Dredd go back and forth, I was just kind of like, fight, 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 fight. Just let me get like, 50 feet away. But if y'all gonna fight, 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 fight. But I have had so much fun this season with all the scenes with you guys, and I'm looking forward to next season.
That was a long question, but it's an important one because I was going to ask the same thing. So
Yep, it's an important question. Thank you, Corey, Unconscious Celestial, for asking that, because that is one of our preferred opening questions to do, to go around the table and talk about those big moments that we felt that what happened in the season. So yeah, that one took a little while, but that's always expected with that question. So we'll move on to the next one. Maddox asks, what is your character planning as their first initial move for season 6? I'll take that one because I know exactly what my character is going to do first scene she's in season 6. Jackie knows she owes someone. Waneka sent a warning specifically to her about the storm and to protect her people. So when she comes back from her trip, episode 1, season 6, that's the first place she's going when she gets off the plane, is to talk to Waneka.
spoiler, expect to see a guest character in that scene. I'm not going to say who, I'm not going to say what. Expect to see a guest character in episode 1 of season 6 for sure.
Because Jackie, as anyone who has seen our chronicle from start to finish so far to where we've gotten, has seen that Jackie is the type that generally doesn't like to keep debts on the books. She likes to get things evened up as soon as she can. So she's going to basically go talk to Waneka and repay that debt. So we'll go, whoever wants to go next, if they know what their character is going to do first thing, season 6.
And if not, if you don't, you don't. I mean,
if you don't, you don't.
Some don't
say you don't
plan
know
ahead.
yet.
So I know for Nicholas, it's kind of like a combination of two things. It's he wants to try to figure out like what happened with Zal, and then but at the same time, with him dropping off the list of books that he wants from Roscoe, it's research to set some shit in motion at the very beginning, which I think between those two things is kind of, while he's getting the books and kind of like doing the research in the downtime, it's try and figure out what's going on with Zal.
I can go next. So I think Isabella. So since I was gone in the season finale, with the thing that Isabella was off gathering information on Decker. I first need to work off screen like what information she got on Decker. With that, with Shanky, because the first thing I really want to do is kind of flesh out what this plan of Decker's demise at least starts off looking like, and kind of beginning that slow spiral and just working out what that's going to look like. So first gathering information or understanding what information I gathered, and then putting it together with the help of the coterie.
Apple bottom jeans, Bobby with the fur. Sorry. You can bet your ass, once the snow has melted and whatever has happened, Genevieve's ass is going to be outside of a white picket fence being like, interesting. So
Totally not stalking him.
I'm not stalking him. Just so we're clear, I'm not stalking Bobby. but I might be stalking his bitch.
I'm gonna say you're gonna stalk his wife. Got it. I mean, that is a distinction.
Look, the Bobby storyline, the player knows a theoretical eventuality or a couple branching paths of it. The character doesn't know. And so we've been, and Shanky has even said he enjoys slow rolling this story out because it is very intricate and there's all kinds of little pieces to it. And so it gets a chance to see different aspects of it. And so I am perfectly fine kind of pulling this out because it went from one stink eye stare in season 4 to season 6 now, and we're going to see if it goes into season 7. Probably not, because Genevieve is she wants to get her hands on that booty. So
there is more to going Bobby than appears. There's also, as everyone knows, I don't take the characters as they're exactly written in the book because it's too easy to meta, even unconsciously, because the players may not consciously meta, but if you've read the book, there's always that unconscious part of the brain you act on. And I twist them a bit. So there's some twist to Bobby's story, the Shanky twist that's going to come out as we progress through. That's going to be interesting, but it's the kind of thing it's a slow roll. You got to build to it. You don't want to just drop it and run. That would cheapen the story for Jenny as a whole. And that's not what we want to do. We want to make sure that it's a good story for Jenny. So yeah, it's coming. Who's next?
I guess that'll be me.
Go ahead.
Did you want to go, Lamar?
No, I said go ahead.
Okay. Roscoe is he's looking forward to talking to his sire and coordinating her trip to clean Chicago
up. Unconscious Celestial, you heard that. Be ready for us to schedule you because he's got to communicate with you since the person he sent to go get you disappeared. Because for those that don't know, Unconscious Celestial actually plays Roscoe's sire.
And she scares the ever-living fuck out of me.
She should.
The character, not the player.
Yeah, the character's she's a badass.
Or are you scared of the player too? Because
Lamar's opening move, I mean, he's got a few, like there's some things that have been going in the background for him, but I think the big one is going to be reaching out to Aicha because he told her about the underground and looking for the cultist, the shepherd that we're trying to find. But he also sent Nick down there to look for One Eye K, and he kind of had a thought towards the end, like I should probably warn her. That way, she stays out of the reach of the Nosferatu and One Eye K while she's looking for this other guy. But he's definitely going to be trying to follow that up because this guy is bad news, and he wants to make sure he does right by Khadijah and proves that he's worthy of being her student. So
I don't have to answer that one, so we can go to the next question.
All right, this one is from Gray. It's for all cast. What moment do you dread or are you waiting for in season 6 as a player for your character? So as from a player perspective, what are you really looking forward to or really dreading coming up? I'm not going to start this one. We're going to start with Lamar, with Gavin.
Lamar has a small little kill list, and by small I mean like 3 or 4 reams of paper long. There's some people in the city that again have to die or be dealt with in a conclusive way, and looking forward to dealing with some of them. Personally dreading kind of seeing Kathy again, because every time these two have a moment, someone or something comes along and just ruins it. And not in a like, oh, okay, it got the date got interrupted, let's pick it up Tuesday. It's more like I don't know if we should see each other again under these circumstances because you got the jealous ex. My coterie members don't especially like you. it's like I love you and I hate you, like depending on the hour of the day you ask, and I just ratted you out. You lied to me about this or that. And it's like it's really like the whole star-crossed lovers thing, except there's just more crosses than stars. So yeah, Lamar is definitely not sure about the next time he sees Kathy, whether he's going to be like, "Hey, how's it going?" or walking the other way the moment he sees her.
I can go next. I would say I'm kind of dreading what Nicholas may be walking into with Zal. Um, just because there's a lot of what ifs with that whole situation with the Giovanni disappearing from the city. Um, I would say that's probably like the biggest one for Nicholas is just kind of what's he walking into. Because now that he has an interest in sort of Zal's overall well-being, um, it could make things a little more complicated, especially given his history with Giovanni in general.
All right, that puts Roscoe next, don't it?
Okay. Roscoe is genuinely dreading the absolutely coming up confrontation with Abraham over Sun Chi.
You are perfectly valid dreading that because he's not only your regent, he is vastly more powerful than Roscoe. I mean, he survived the Gehenna Wars and came back. Well, Tracy,
we're
as
not
she
sure.
said,
Yeah.
she put that bug in your, is it actually Abraham?
Right. Might be somebody else in there now.
Yep. That's gonna, yeah, that's a good one. That's coming.
Okay, Morgan.
I'm not actually okay, so I'll be honest with you. I'm not necessarily dreading any scenes. I think that there's a lot of interesting potential branching things based on this and that. There's a lot of character backstory that will probably start coming out for Genevieve in season 6 if certain things are touched upon. Because there was a big word dropped in the season finale that will probably bring something up in season 6. And if it becomes something that Genevieve starts interacting with, that is interesting for the character in a number of ways. So I don't know. I guess, what was it? I should have had one for a second there. I'm probably if I'm dreading anything, quote unquote, it's probably going to be if Critus fucking comes around asking questions, because I am not seeking his bald pedo toga wearing ass out. But if he comes looking for me, I will have to, of course, interact with him. But I will also try to make sure that it is in a place where he can't be like, follow me to this back room, be like, no, thank you, sir. Stranger danger, and click my, beeper alarm or something. So
he may be a primogen, but he's not your primogen.
Exactly. So I don't have to go anywhere with him. I will not be getting into that van. No, thank you.
And for those that don't understand, the one shot next Sunday at this time slot is going to reveal some of that interaction that you heard about, just as a little bit of a brief spoiler that goes directly to what Jenny's talking about. So.
Okay. I am absolutely, I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but I'm absolutely dreading the moment that Portia will call Isabella to her or their next engagement. I'm
She
just
touched you.
waiting. Exactly. Like I'm just, as a player, every time we sit down for a session, I'm just like, is today the day Shanky makes it happen? And there's a pit of dread in my stomach every single time. Which is like good because like that's Isabella's probably worried about that too. Like it's, yeah. So like I'm glad it's there, but that thought is definitely what she's most afraid of right now.
And the rules put a limit on how long the summon can be used, but I will say that is not the hard limit for someone of Portia's age or Helena's age. At her age, the summoning limit is a lot longer than what the book says, because one of the things I hate is the hard, fast rules in the book. It lasts this long. It does this exactly. There's always variations. And in her case, age alone dictates it will run a little bit longer.
And even then, like, even if she can't do that, like, even if she technically can't use the summons, if she wants Isabella, she'll find a way to get to talk to Isabella.
Or you have to
like,
come to your
there's
primogen.
exactly, like, there's no doubt about it. So, like, just waiting for that to happen.
And I'm glad that you basically, in a manner of words, kind of spoke to the personal horror of vampire, because that's what vampire is based on, is personal horror. Because yeah, there are things that our characters are absolutely terrified of. And it should, as players, kind of cause us to be a bit dreadful too, because we know our characters are terrified of it. For me, honestly, I am dreading the first conversation Jackie is going to have with a certain guest that's going to appear in season 6, episode 1.
You won't have your conversation with him in episode 1,
Right.
unfortunately, but
So it won't be in episode 1 that the conversation happens, but when that first conversation happens, I am going, as a player, to dread that a little bit, because that's going to be a very intensely emotional thing for Jackie to deal with. Spilling a little tea there. All right. So Evan Blade asks, who is everyone's favorite and least favorite NPCs?
I'll go first because I haven't answered one in the last one. My favorite or my least favorite, I've murdered off already. I'll be fair about it. I hated Sun as at a general principle. It's too far into the trope Malkavian of, I don't think, I mean, you can play, I've actually planned to play at one point a Malkavian that is a certified sociopath, but they took it to the trope level instead of where my angle to go on it is more of, think of Christian Bale in, God, which one movie was that when it was
American Psycho.
American Psycho. Yeah. That angle. But Sun, they just went too far, and I didn't like that trope with it. And he's problematic from a point of view of he does these therapy sessions and then uses that to abuse his clan members. I just didn't like Sun, and I killed him off. Favorites, Wineka is always going to be a favorite. Nero is a favorite for story reasons now. Yeah. Trying to think of who else is a big favorite. I'm enjoying Nick. Not gonna lie, I enjoy playing Evan. I even enjoy being Etienne, that proper man. Actually, I'll put it. I love playing the ghouls. There's some of my favorite. Each ghoul is slightly different than the others. Emilio is Evan is joking and he's flippant, but Emilio is a little more proper. But Emilio's the criminal of the two of them.
He's the bad boy.
Yeah, he's the one that always, it goes with their backstory. He is the criminal, and he always thinks of things from a criminal mindset. But he's still Isabella's ghoul, so it's a criminal mindset. But he's always looking out for her. And with Michael, which is Roscoe's newest ghoul, you got to think about it his terms. He was Jonathan's ghoul, then he was Eleanor's ghoul, then he was handed to Abigail, and now he's Roscoe. You're going to see a very insecure ghoul because he feels like he's been passed around like a cheap blunt. But he's bound. He can't do anything but please them. But in the back of his head, who's going to be my next master? You know, we haven't really got to go into Matthew yet for Nicholas. That's coming. Nicholas is not going to be exactly like his ghoul. But his ghoul is still going to be off because, well, he's around Nicholas all the time, and he has Nicholas's blood. So I love the ghouls in general. We haven't got enough of the father yet for Lamar, but it's coming because I'm not going to go too in depth, but cult stuff's coming, and a priest is always involved in cult stuff. So there's my answer.
I can take the next
Go
one.
for it.
Absolutely love Tracy. I fucking hate Tremere and I love Tracy. And then for least favorite, honestly, I think for me, like as much as Sun was a problem, I absolutely hate Nathaniel on his own. Like when he's the voice in like Lamar's head, I love him. But everything before then, it was just I don't know. He rubbed me the wrong way.
And
Um,
he was a fair game win because I also didn't like him. Let him kill him.
Tracy is all of us. I feel like Tracy is like the whole audience. When like with Roscoe, it's like, wait, you just have that laying around. Wait, you just you just like randomly talk to these people, like, and you're not dead. Like, how are you doing all this? And Roscoe's like, oh well, didn't know it was a problem. And all of us, and Tracy's just like, how? How did you make it this far? So I love that, and I just love the whole interaction between her and Roscoe. Son, I didn't like. Nathaniel was kind of right now. Next on the we need to get this guy up out of here list is Balthazar. Just there's been no version of Chicago by Night where I have seen Balthazar or has seen him played that made me go, you know what? Let's keep this guy around. Like I've been like I kind of we just need to get that guy
He is a
invited to the Ash
leftover of the
party.
90s when it was created. Honestly, he is a
Mm.
racist, misogynistic shithead. I mean, there's nothing redeeming about Balthazar. Nothing. Zero as a character redeeming.
Mhm.
So yeah, we can invite him to the Ash party next.
I will say, I try to make all of my kindred have at least something redeeming about him, but with Balthazar, there's nothing to be redeeming about him. Nothing. Even Jackson, that a lot of y'all don't always agree with, he does have his own sense of loyalty. I mean, he does have his own moral code he follows, and he's doing the best he can to rule a city that was in tatters after Peterson and Loden got removed. So, but Balthazar, yeah, he has nothing redeeming I can find about him as a character.
Oh, let me also ask. I'm sorry. Alan Sovereign. Let's just go ahead and 3-point him right out of existence. Let's do
it's
that.
the voice. The voice fucking kills
Now,
me.
I'm not sure why you don't like his voice.
Oh my
Jesus
god. Oh
Christ.
my god. Where's my ball gag?
Nails on a chalkboard.
I'm gonna answer next. Honestly, my favorite of all the SPCs. I mean, I have like a list of favorites, but the one that's at number one, truly at number one, is Amelia. I really love how Bill portrays the Ventrue women. They are all unapologetically themselves. Fuck what anybody else thinks. And Amelia is so self-aware of who and what she is and the confidence that she has. Just an amazing SPC, and I absolutely love seeing her in a scene, whether it's with my character or with others, because she is a brilliant SPC. She's a bit of a harpy. She's a gossip monger, but she's also she's aware she's a nosy bitch, and she doesn't care if everybody knows it.
She knows what they call her behind her back.
And she wears it like a badge of fucking honor. And I love that about her. And she, she's my absolute favorite. And the fact that she's indulgent with her child because she adores her child.
Tat.
She adores her child. Jackie finds some similarities in herself with that. Jackie adores her child as well and is a bit indulgent and wants to, make sure that her child is happy as well. So she understands. But yeah, I love that NPC for real. Least favorite, I'm going to be real now that I've seen what's happened. Nero. He's a misogynistic, abusive shit, and Jackie wants him ashed.
He went from emotionless to honestly are very stereotypical, what you expect from a low humanity Toreador.
Hmm. Yeah, he's a decadent, fucking narcissistic piece of shit, and Jackie wants him mashed. And I personally hate that. I hate misogynists. I hate fucking sexist assholes. I fucking hate abusers personally, fundamentally in the core of my being. And yes, it would give me immense pleasure to see Nero get got.
Oh, he's equal opportunity. I still disagree on the misogynistic part because he,
No, you were talking about a Luke.
well, no, Luke is just a Luke. He is, from what everything you've seen so far, yes, misogynistic, because that's everything you've seen. You haven't
I say
seen him with men yet.
misogynistic because of how he's
Right.
acting with
Uh,
Kathy.
But he'll act the same way about a man he wants to possess, which is actually going to come up, I think, some in season 6, as some other things that are I can see in the pipeline,
Yeah,
and you're going to see some of the other things Nero cares about, and he is possessive of everything he cares about, which is a problem.
that's a problem.
Which is very Toreador when their humanity drops,
Mm-hmm.
is that it's mine.
Mm-hmm.
Don't touch what's mine. And pray you're not what he decides is yours, because that's a bigger problem.
Yeah. So both of my favorite and least favorite are in high clans in the city.
That kind of feeds really well into like who I don't like. It's obviously Decker. Like the links that he hasn't come up yet and like it's spoken really yet, but like the links he's going to get Tessa just to like have that ownership back. It's mind-boggling. Like just let it go, dude.
Yeah, to get honor back. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, honor. But like yeah, like it's mind-boggling what he's going through to do that. Favorite characters, it's more subtle side. I really like how you play her Shanky, but I like how you do Izzy for Nicholas. It's always very subtle. But it's still just enough to like really show like her thoughts or how she's feeling and having her like impact Nicholas in a good way. So yeah, I really like her. I think she's a good SPC.
I love players that give me that route, because we'll be fair, Izzy is a storyteller tool for me to nudge the players certain directions without being heavy-handed. And I love the players that are willing to do that, because it's not always a good nudge. There's good and bad that can come from it, but players that are willing to let me have that nudge, I like that.
I guess I'm the only one who hasn't answered. See, I was thinking it's like really, I think some of my favorite SPCs probably are like Amelia, Melina. I'll be real. I actually the character does not care for Brett. The player thinks Brett is fucking hilarious. I love the comments that come out every single time Brett is in a scene. So he's kind of wormed his way into this position of kind of like a favorite SPC in a sense. Now like I said, the character does not give a shit about Brett. He is a walking issue for the character because of who he's attached to, but the player does not feel the same. Characters I hate or an SPC that I dislike, it's
It's a long list, right?
Yeah, it's a little hard because like I don't even think Genevieve or the player hate Bobby, for example. He's just kind of this weird little like puzzle box. He's like a Rubik's cube, as it were. Because I don't know, she probably doesn't like well, she probably isn't a huge fan of Critus now. But I kind of dislike him on a personal level because of his whole being a fucking Greco-Roman pedophile douche in a toga. So I'll go with
the
Critus.
book never states he's a pedophile, but if you look at, he embraced Damien underage, and it does hint a lot that he likes young boys.
I'm just saying,
It does hint way too much.
Look, if the color guard is marching the red flags for Critus, I'm going to listen to them. So
yeah.
All right.
Your turn, Urian.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I think overall the NPC that I like the most is Etienne. He's just a wonderful character. I mean, personally, I like Tracy. Dislike, well, Son, obviously, he was the worst, and he had to go. but more immediately is Balthazar. He's possibly going to be a problem. I mean, even Tally has redeeming features.
Yeah. Balthazar came up in your house.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, in your house, which is
Right. And that means I'm on his radar, and he's likely to be a problem again in the future.
and he was willing to come up in a Tremere's house and threaten him.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of clans that they don't mind threatening Tremere, but not normally in their own house, because you don't know what's in that house waiting on you. You do it outside the house.
Yeah.
I played that scene of him showing zero respect for you at all, to
Mhm.
show how disrespectful he is to anyone he doesn't consider on his level, which is no one is on his level. He's a sick man.
All right. So Eben Blade also asks for the storyteller, what is the extent of the incoming storm, and will it reach the Goblin Roads or just cover the city?
The storm is going to reach beyond the edge of the city. It's going to pound Milwaukee. It is going to loop around. Some effect on Gary, not as much because it's the wrong direction from it. The Goblin Roads, being what they are, they're going to shift in reaction to the storm. Were you to travel the Goblin Roads during the storm, you'll see a lot more of the supernatural that deals with snow and ice and cold, rather than the normal supernatural that's out there, because the Goblin Roads reflects what's around it. So it would be a lot more twisted, but you'll see more of, what you'd expect in a freezing environment. Ice devils, not demons or devils as in Demon of Fallen, but ice devils, things like that. Things that, a storm that you just can't find your way in no matter what. Or frozen people that move as if they're not frozen, but they're solid blocks of ice, odd things like that. The Goblin Roads is a very strange place. So it will be affected by the storm. But for the city, it's the brunt of it is going to be unleashed on Chicago, because this is the Lake Spirit's attempt to stop what's happening to it. And it's not happy with what's happening to it. It knows someone's trying to shut it down.
Astral asks, which of the existing story threads heading into season 6 are you all most looking forward to exploring? I'll take that one first because I have an instant answer, and if I don't say it, somebody else might take it. I legit have I'm really looking forward to pursuing and resolving the Felicity story with the Second Inquisition. I believe our general idea is probably going to be to take care of that fairly early in season 6. So, because that also sets up for dealing with the Tessa situation, since both will occur in Milwaukee. So I'm really looking forward to that, because that's kind of knocking two birds with one stone kind of thing. So it's a lot of story happening kind of at the same time. And I love those. I don't like those all the time, but it's good because we haven't really had that go on a lot in the past season or season and a half or so. So having that really dynamic, shifting perspective story is going to be a lot of fun to play out with that. So that's, and of course I know more will come from that throughout season 6, and there's a lot of other stories coming up in season 6 as well. But that one is the big one that I'm really looking forward to pursuing.
I think immediately what I'm looking forward to kind of seeing resolved is like, where the heck did Zal go? Like, what happened? Like, I feel like that's something that was just dropped at the end of the last season. And I really want to see what happens with that. Aside from like with an Isabella point of view, like I think obviously like getting Tessa back, and seeing how that potentially impacts her future plans for Decker.
I was gonna say just quickly, the war in the South Side, or the current war in the South Side. I even if it's one of those things that it gets resolved on the later end of the season or as like a season finale thing, I totally understand that. But when the war in the South Side ends, it opens up for the story stuff with like what Lamar wants to do, and that's a multifaceted thing that opens up for if Roscoe wants to expand the South Side. That opens up for Genevieve's plans with what she was talking about with Lamar in season 4, I think, about food trucks. Like it opens up different things, and other avenues to different story things that aren't just like we have to tiptoe around the fact that like Alexa's lurking in a shadow somewhere, Capone's in a cellar somewhere, and Loden is down in the sewers hiding, if that makes sense. So yeah.
I think for me, other than the Zal, is seeing the whole oh god, come back to me. I just brain farted.
Okay, then. I'm looking forward to continuing the conversation I was having with Tracy. There were some additional details that I didn't get to talk with her about because she cut it short because she intends to go deal with Decker.
I almost feel bad for Decker.
Yeah.
And
So I remember now. Sorry. So the whole what's going to be happening with this ring, Damien, Sylvester, just like that whole kind of problem. Just kind of seeing how that develops, because that's going to take up, I feel, a large part of Nicholas's time in the immediate future.
I'm going to go last, so go ahead, Lamar.
I mean, there's so much, but definitely the completion of the war on the South Side, and then going to Milwaukee, and personally wrecking Mark Decker's day or night is going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking very much forward to that. On the sad side, I am looking forward to finding out what happened to Sun-Chi. I know it's going to affect Roscoe, and I want to see how he deals with that when it's all said and done. I also I know that Raven doesn't want to deal with Critias, but I'm interested to see how Ginny tells the old man to sit down and shut up, because he's gonna have to. Yeah, if he tries to pull anything, all Ginny has to do is tell the right people, and another Primogen could end up in a dust ball somewhere. Not saying, just saying.
The big one for me, season 6 is going to be the season of cults. I am really looking forward to it. We've laid a number of cult plot lines, and it's going to start coming up more and more because there's a lot of cults in Chicago, and they interweave. So there's layers upon layers of not just conflicting, but subcults and twisted cults and modifications on the cults. And I'm really looking forward to that. But another one is one I haven't revealed. Relin has heard me talk about it briefly. I am entertaining the possibility of a scene as a memoriam scene after season 6 is done of Decker, because I am thinking of a few of our potential guest players, and one that technically is not a guest, but I want to use him for it because of the subject matter of when Tracy shows up with a mage to talk to Decker. I think that would be a memoriam to show of, well, a nightmare in Decker's case, to show after the fact how that scene played out, because everyone is already really interested in what Tracy's going to do to him, and to show it after you see the events play out, to show a memoriam flashback of what happened to him. I think the players and the viewers would love to see. And I have one particular person in mind that I'd like to see play Tracy, and I have somebody in mind I'd like to see to play the mage. Everyone knows our resident mage, big fan, our fan boy for mage, and I'd love to see him play one in that scene.
That would be epic. That would be epic. But yeah, there's just, that's the thing with asking a question like that, though. There's so many story threads that we have currently going and potentially starting that, there's just so much story we play out from season to season in this game, and so many little hooks here and there that, we can decide that we're going to pursue or not. And it's great. I love it. It's like a choose your own adventure, and you just follow it down the rabbit hole and see where it goes. All right. Ebon Blade asked, are there any stories you regret not following up? For me, No.
I'm curious as to what happened with like Brayden White. He just kind of fell off the
Well,
radar for a bit. I'm sure he'll
no,
come up again.
we've laid the groundwork for him. He's going to be a
Yeah.
longer term one for it. So I want to, with some of them, you'll see I do that. I lay the groundwork and then it comes up again later. He's
Yeah,
one
yeah.
of them.
I figured that's what would happen. But like, just like with where this season stands, like it just into the wind.
I'm going to pick back up. Actually, I kind of left it on Anita to deal with a Luke whenever she fucking gets around to it. It's not that I didn't do the story, but I'm just kind of letting it simmer for right now with a Luke. And if you think about it, Jackie's just done something that will probably escalate that. Because the only leverage that a Luke had on Jackie was the threat he made to Abigail, her child. And Jackie just took Abigail out of his reach.
And for those that don't understand, the players a lot of time choose not all their story because Shanky twist, but they choose a lot of it. And Rillin has actually told me she wants to focus some more on the Luke issue this season. And we've got some ideas that, okay, we can focus on that. We can make that more of Jackie's story to show how Jackie deals with that, because I let the players decide some of their stories. Some of it, you pick where you want to follow, but it don't always mean that it's going to follow it the way you thought it would.
And also our actions have consequences, which often lead to new story anyway.
Yep. And the NPC's actions have consequences.
So now it's for whoever wants to answer.
I would say the only real thing for Nicholas that I regret at this point would just be not pushing for more like Matthew. I just think that as sort of like a foil to his character, and maybe it is better as a season 2 thing, but just not even really doing anything with him other than just like bringing him up in passing. But other than that, I love what's happened with Nicholas so far.
For Lamar, I would say kind of his storyline with his mortal family has kind of drifted off into the background while he's dealing with some of the more clear and present threats. But very soon, I am looking forward to picking that back up and having him do a bit of apply a little bit of La Sombra. What do they call that? Applying a bit of La Sombra. There's a word there. Having basically him apply tough love to his grandson and his daughter to see who's worthy of actually being his heir. And yeah, it's ruthless, and it's probably one way or the other. It's probably going to cost him some of his humanity, but I'm also very much looking forward to seeing how he navigates.
Wait a minute,
that.
you can't afford to lose any more humanity, Mr. 4.
You really can't.
I can maybe 1 point, maybe.
Don't make Jackie kill Lamar.
We're gonna get right up close to the line, and then we'll back off.
Anyone else?
Are we good?
I was just going to add that I don't have any. There are no story threads that I particularly regret us not having followed, except for maybe a couple that were caused by players not being with us anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Roscoe was doing a whole thread, with the Eleanor play around and the Sam dynamic, and players aren't
Jackie
here.
was doing things with Destiny.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, and then go back that far, Lamar and Destiny had this kind of underlying tension that, yeah.
Yeah. But that happens when people have to
Right.
exit a game.
Mhm.
So, yeah. All right. Maddox, I'm not going to allow your question to get answered, but I will state what the question is so that everyone knows why I'm not allowing it to be answered. To start the next season off right, who is the lead vocalist of Journey? Well, the present one isn't an issue, but the old one.
Is the
I already
first that shall
answered
not
this.
be named.
It's John Bon Jovi.
It's
I
John
answered this
Jovi.
already.
But Maddox, what I'm going to suggest is that you answer that question for yourself, which you already have in your head, and now you've cursed your werewolf game when it starts.
No.
Nicholas is like, wait,
Oh,
wait,
no.
I'm in that game.
Oh
Sorry.
no, the old Uno reverse.
All right. Astral says, what kind of terrors can the storyteller reveal they're planning to throw at the coterie next season?
Let's see. Cults. And it's some big shit with the cults, obviously. Big terrors. The Zal storyline has got some very fucked up shit coming. Not even the guest player that's going to be involved in that knows what's coming with that. There's a turnaround coming for the Felicity story. I'm not going to call it a terror, but it's a good turnaround that happens with that. I've got that planned out. One of the rare times I planned out anything. Other big terrors, you're going to have to wait and see. I don't plan a lot of the big terrors along ahead of time. I mainly just watch what the characters do, and their actions have consequences. And eventually, what they do does bad things. The ring situation that Nicholas is supposed to get, there's two paths from that one. And one of them is a pretty dark and twisted path that you probably don't want to walk down. But it's how the players handle it.
The big question is whether or not there's a big shining red button in front of it.
If so, you'll see Roscoe already at the button.
Contemplating pressing it with a hand ready.
Because Roscoe bought Premonition and Spirit's Touch.
Yeah, I would have gone the Sense the Unseen, Heightened Senses, and then Spirit's Touch.
But to be fair, as Roscoe stated in the season finale, if there aren't any red flags, how does you know that button is dangerous?
That's true. That's true.
Yep,
So
Yeah.
that's true.
All right. Next question comes actually from someone in this stream, Mischievous Red. What is Lamar doing with his stash of skulls?
They decorate the mantle.
So that has come up in Cash Chat more than once, and he's never answered it until now.
They're decorating the mantle.
I had very obscene
I wanted
things.
an answer.
I would say I had obscene things I was saying he was doing with them, so I like his answer better than mine.
I mean, talking is still skull fucking.
Well, yeah, I was picturing the Full Metal Jacket scene where Lamar looks at him and starts screaming, "I'll gouge out your eyes and skull fuck you." I did. That's just me.
All right. Next question is from TRC Segro. We will see
Zeddy on the Discord.
Zeddy on the Discord. We will see the result. Will we see the results of the Spirit Maelstrom in season 6?
God, yes. You're going to see the one shot is also going to involve that, as will the actual story of season 6, because a Maelstrom's a big deal in the spirit world. It's going to be touched in both of them, the one shot and season 6. Let's just say the dead want to know who caused the Maelstrom. How did it's not a normal Maelstrom to be caused. They're looking for why.
Final question from Astral. Would any of you need a PI with added skills in a clever way of inducing resonances, knowledge on contacts and occult stuff, and Malkavian insight? Otherwise, if I'm still welcome, one of you needs to field me a potential guest slot.
No, actually, it's funny you say that, Astral. I had the idea of a PI group of a Malkavian, a Tremere, and a Nosferatu trio that do PI work.
Mm-hmm.
Because you would have, of course, the Tremere can track with blood sorcery. The Malkavian is the seer of the group, and Nosferatu, that's the surveillance guy. And I actually had a thought of triple kindred PIs.
Mhm.
I think that there's a need in kindred society, and they would have a niche that even as Articus they could do it. They wouldn't have to be in the Camarilla. They would just take jobs for people and investigate and find things for others. So it's funny you mentioned that because.
And I swear, if somebody don't snatch up Astral, I will make sure that there's someone tied to Jackie again for him to play because he's brilliant to volley in scenes with. So
I have been racking my brain for a guest character idea. I swear, because I said this in the season 3 Q&A. Being a guest was a good experience for me. I wanted to be able to offer that to somebody else if I could. The problem is that I just can't come up with a guest idea. Genevieve was not very kindred facing in Vegas, and I don't want all my people to be like, you got to come from Vegas, come on down. So yeah, I'm not very traveled, unfortunately.
that's all right. It's something for the table to brainstorm on and see if they can think of something for Astral to play.
Stories of Windy City, the lone gunman.
The lone gunman. All right. MDMon01, which is Demon on our Discord, says, hey all, how do Jackie's plans for Minnesota impact Windy City, Chicago? I can answer that. I don't know what Shanky's doing, but things decided to get laggy for me, so that throws me off a little bit. So Shanky should have taken his meds today.
I didn't touch a thing.
Okay. I don't know. It was getting laggy for me. So Jackie's plans, basically, that she stated coming out, that she's probably going to gather up support, gather up a court, or at least the skeleton of a court that she can flesh out later, to pursue Praxis in Milwaukee once Decker is removed. The Decker storyline that Isabella is pursuing and has the coterie assisting with is a long-running storyline. It is not going to be, 1 season, 2 seasons, and Decker's no longer Prince. Okay? Decker's been Prince a long time, skating under the radar. He's not stupid. So, it's going to take time to get Decker displaced and get him really set up for a fall. So with that, Jackie's plans for becoming a prince, well, basically, she's not going to be a prince because that's a fucking man's title. She's going to be a queen like her grandsire was. She is basically going to be doing that whenever we get close to the end of our chronicle. That is basically her final scene of the chronicle. So it is something that's going to take a lot of time because she's got to pull on connections she has basically worldwide to get support for this as things progress, because she can't let too many people know about her plans at the start. She can only do certain trusted people first that she won't spread stuff around. So it's going to take a long time for her to build this support and the people that she needs to take it. So it's not going to be something, you're not going to see Jackie exit prematurely unless something happens and she gets ashed.
Then she won't be queen. She'll be dead. And since we don't have any other viewer questions yet, I've actually got a question. This is for the new players. This is for Isabella there and Nicholas. Now that you've got 1 season down, you've done 1 whole season, and you've peeked behind the curtain. What did you think of your first season, your first full season in Windy City?
It went by so fast. Like when we were thinking of the ideas earlier, or like what had happened this season, like what our favorite moments were, just thinking back on how much, and like Morgan even said, was that even this season? Like it seems like it was so long ago, but like we've only been here for 1 season, and there's been so much that's happened, and like watching it, I don't think I picked up on like just how much was happening at any given moment. But now that I'm in it, it's a lot easier to just like see how much is happening.
Yeah, and I think for me, it's also seeing all of the coordination between players and the ST, like what's the story that everybody wants to tell, and how can we sort of intertwine that with other people at the table so it's not always the same dynamic. It's seeing Nicholas with Jackie, seeing Nicholas with Roscoe, Seeing Isabella with Jackie is a much different thing than, like, Isabella with some of the SPCs. So I think for me it was as somebody who likes all of the background stuff, getting to actually see the background stuff and how that goes into putting the whole thing together, for me, was more than I could have hoped for, because it's having watched for a year now, it's amazing just to see and to actually like be part of it, and all of the extra trolling for Yuri and I get to do is
Like, you don't troll me. Long running joke for anyone watching this right now is I'm bad at coming up with names on the spot. So whenever somebody asks the name of an NPC, Zoom chat fills in with the worst names possible.
Tom Thomason.
Yeah, Tom Thomason,
Bob
James
Roberts.
Jameson. Yeah, just to fuck with Shanky. So yeah, there's a lot of that in the background.
I mean, it's definitely a bonus. But yeah, it just, and then just having other people that you can like bounce ideas off of. It was like, oh, maybe I was thinking this for, doing something with a character, and kind of getting that feedback. It's just, but yeah, like to go with what Red said, it was just, I almost forgot that the fucking sledgehammer thing was this season, because it's only been one season and it feels like so long ago. But and then again, it feels like it was just yesterday. So yeah, I'm so excited to see what other shenanigans I can get Nicholas into.
At least you're honest.
Anybody
I
else
do
have
have-
any commentary?
I was gonna say, I do have a history of making terrible decisions in games, so
Yeah, like signing up for Windy City. Ba-dum-bum.
I want to give a little bit of my own player perspective on the new folks that joined us. I have thoroughly enjoyed as a player seeing the two of you bring your characters to basically life and flesh and basically showing them begin to flesh out a bit on screen. I mean, I know viewers are already engaging with your characters just from the bits that you've been able to bring forward so far, and so have I, and I'm eagerly awaiting to see what more Isabella and Nicholas have within them. Because that's they really, I mean, they're brilliant characters. Every character at this table is a brilliant character. All of them are multifaceted. Their motivations are interesting. They are very unique and individual characters that have all come together with a single purpose kind of thing. And it's very interesting to see new players come into an established dynamic and forge their place. And I actually extend that also to Ivy Raven with Jenny, because I feel like this season, Jenny really came into her own a bit, especially towards the end of the season. And we really got to see exactly who Jenny is deep down. We may not know all the background story yet, and that'll come out later, but we get to see who she is right now. And that was beautiful to see as a player. And it's really just, I love it. I love seeing Roscoe being brought out of his shell a little bit this season, because Roscoe, as I said earlier, really did shine this season. That it's to see the multifacets of Roscoe, that he's not just the button pusher that wants to do all the dangerous, spoopy shit. There are layers to his onion, and he is very dynamic and interesting. It's just, I've seen it with Lamar's, the character of Lamar, over earlier seasons, now seeing it with Roscoe, and then seeing the new folks coming in and forging their own identities and their place within the dynamic is really just a lot of fun to see.
And I will say it, half the table here was not there at the beginning.
Mm-mm.
So you're talking half the cast has come in to an established table.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. It's hard for cast to do that. It's hard for players to do that, to jump into established storylines and established dynamics and forge their own way.
Mm-hmm.
And we're seeing it. This season was a thread building season in a lot of ways. It was setting up future plot lines, because you have to do that with new cast.
Yep.
But they've done very well. And each of them does have their own little threads and their own plot lines that some of them are woven with other co-roommates, but some of them are solely theirs.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. So we
Yeah,
have some
I
more
was gonna
viewer
say.
questions. Oh, please go ahead.
Oh no, just really quickly, I was gonna say I will admit, season 4, I fucking floundered. That first half, I couldn't do shit because I couldn't think of anything because it was all established 3 seasons of stuff, going, and it was basically at that point it was still the same 5 people plus me, as it were. So it's like this is an ongoing thing. I can't just come in and be like, "Fuck your guys' story." And then when we got to do all the murderizing, of course, that was easy for me to step in and be like, "Okay." But no, season 5 was a lot easier to start doing my own kind of story stuff from that standpoint. So did feel like I was also trying to force myself to make sure I started doing story stuff instead of just being like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So.
And just to piggyback off that real quick, I think that adds to it, as crappy as it is to lose players and lose characters to real life stuff. I think it was almost beneficial for me and Red because it was, a third of the table was brand new. So it was just kind of like, working that in. Plus you've got Morgan as sort of like that in between where she's got some established stories, some established experience and time with the table, and then you've got
The veterans.
Yeah, and so I think that dynamic really worked for us because it kind of gave us different outlooks on I guess how we were doing and like how things were going. So getting the different kinds of feedback from different experience levels, and then also with Morgan having the guest role experience on top of everything else was really useful.
I do want to say to all the viewers out there that you wonder about joining established tables because it can be tough for people to do that sometimes. My advice to you is do it. If it's a good table, they will welcome you, they will help you build your story, and they will help you become your own character and not subvert you into all their stories and make it only about them without you. Don't hesitate. Do it. And if you don't get in, keep trying. Keep putting in because every show you're in, every game you're in has a limited number of people at the table. Whether it's streamed or not, there's a limited number of people at the table. And if you can't play with one group, try to find another and try to find another good group out there because don't get discouraged because that table you may not get in, but there's a table out there of good players, streamed or not, that you can play with.
Absolutely. And a supportive table is really what helps you break in and get the experience that you need. So I completely concur with Shanky there that, keep trying to get into good supportive tables.
We were all new once. We've all played at bad tables. We've all played at good tables. You gotta, what is it?
Gotta keep putting yourself out there.
You gotta kiss 1,000 frogs to find a prince.
That's right.
Well, you gotta go at I've had more bad tables than good tables.
Yep.
And that's just a fact of the gaming community. That's what it is. I'm
Hey,
not
and
saying they
then-
were bad necessarily. They were bad for me.
I was going to say, and then worst case, if you're kissing that many frogs, at least you got frog legs.
Yeah,
That's right.
they taste like chicken. I've had them, but
Yep. And somebody in chat just said, Wooden Monkey Guy just said, it's not a comment on your character. It's just reflect and don't be that guy. That's right. If you don't get selected, don't get mad about it.
right.
If you've applied for a stream on our channel and you didn't get in, I always tell, it's always great if you reach out and say, well, can you give me any tips, any pointers to try to improve? So maybe I'll get cast in the next one. Because a streamed game is not like a table game.
It's a production.
Right. I mean, we are playing a game, but this is a show. It's unscripted, but it's a show. It's about production. It's about engaging story and engaging players. So it's different for that. And is in particular, when you're trying to join a stream, if you don't get selected, input always helps. Sometimes it's the minor things that you didn't make it. Your tech may not have just been quite where they were looking. And it happens. I mean, tech is important.
Okay, so we have some more questions before we go off on tangents.
Yep.
Zeddy asks again, will we see movement on the Capone story and the Secret Puppet Masters next season? That's going to be on Bill.
Yeah, I was not planning to have movement on the Puppet Masters part, but some of the players' actions towards the end of the season has put a little bit of a fire to that one. So I'm not going to say which players. It's more than one at the table. Actually, that's half the table has put fires onto that particular story, though they don't know it. Some of them. Y'all can guess who the third one is. Y'all can work. No, it's not you, Nicholas. There's some tie-ins, but it's going to have to come up. Whether it'll be fully revealed who's behind it, maybe, maybe not. But there's going to be a lot more of figuring out that puppet master, because the coterie now knows there's a puppet master for sure.
And I see that I actually did skip one question. Sorry about that, Maddox. Maddox asks, is there any one individual, kindred, kind, or something else that you will stay away from out of respect or fear?
Come on, Portia.
Portia,
Yeah, but
yeah.
that's the easy one. That's the easy one. I'm not gonna lie, I have had the random evil thought that, damn, Jackie probably regrets not diablerizing mentally when he was vulnerable.
Oh God, you wouldn't have won that role.
She wouldn't have, but you know what? It was a thought that struck me in that scene.
You would have got to see Verlaine playing mentally.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, because I'm not sure that Jackie is the type that actually avoids things out of respect or fear. She stays away from Portia and has advised the coterie to stay away from Portia, mainly to protect the coterie, because the coterie already lost one member to that bitch. So that's why she does it. It's not because she's actually afraid of Portia. You got to understand, Jackie is someone, she's in the cult of Mithras. She's a descendant of Mithras. She's met Mithras when he was Prince of Lodin. She's been in the presence of these ancient elders, so they don't really scare her. She knows what they are. Yes, they are powerful. Yes, they could end her with a thought if they wanted to. But Jackie is the type that she has ensured her legacy will continue beyond her existence, so she's okay if she gets got by something like that.
When you have stood in the presence
of a god,
Mithras, who is who by his own cult considers a god.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
well, who comes close to that?
Yeah.
And not only stood in his presence, but got his blessing.
That's why Etienne is rarely flappable. He has seen the face of Mithras.
Right. So Jackie's not really flappable in that way, similar to Etienne. Not really, you recognize the power of it. She also avoids the creature out at the cemetery to protect the coterie because it lured destiny to it. I mean, she sees the vulnerability in her coterie and doesn't want them in danger. But she personally is not afraid of anything. I mean, she stared down a fucking demon in its apocalyptic form and didn't flinch. She literally stone cold executed the flesh suit that demon was using to send it back to hell. She does not have fear like that. Jackie just doesn't.
I think for Nicholas, I think he's got that eternal sort of like searching for knowledge sort of background. So I think for him, he's too interested in learning about something new to be scared of it, which will probably end up being a problem. But I just realistically, I think for him, he wouldn't avoid something out of fear. If anything, it would probably be more so either he was advised like stay away and it was more so just pragmatism, or he's just not interested in whatever it is.
The only other person that I can think of that Isabella would want to avoid, other than Portia, who just scared, like I mentioned earlier, scares the ever living shit out of me, is honestly, and it's not for fear or respect, it's honestly just Brett, because she hates dealing with Brett. Like, it's fun for one-liners, but she's like, come on, dude. What's the message? Move on. If she could avoid ever interacting with Brett again, she would.
So Isabella doesn't want contact syphilis. Got it.
Yeah.
Syphilis by osmosis, just being in the same room with him, she might get a disease.
Well, I mean, Portia is obviously the big bad, um, but for Roscoe, it's Abraham. There's just something not right about that guy, and he presents potentially quite a bit of danger for Roscoe and the people he knows. So that's just someone he does his best to avoid, unless absolutely summoned to be in his presence.
I've played Abraham where he says half the right words.
Mhm.
Half of them are the right words. The other half is what makes it a problem,
Mhm.
because it's the words that aren't right that he says it makes you go, wait a minute, whoa, back up. Mm-hmm.
I just had a thought of someone Jackie does actually avoid, but it's more out of respect, and that would be Tyrus. Jackie really does respect Tyrus, and she understands that just her way of doing things just chafes him and brings out the worst in him. So she just avoids him out of respect. It's not that she doesn't try to jerk his chain. She really doesn't, not intentionally. It's just, he gets a little gruffy and she's like, "Wait a minute, I'm not going to put up with that shit." And so, she just realizes that their dynamic is just never going to be pleasant business. And so she just avoids him out of respect.
Jenny, you or Lamar got one?
I was gonna say, other than Portia, really, I don't feel like I necessarily try to avoid anybody, or that there's anybody I want to avoid, respect or fear, because like Rose is not in the picture, so I'm not avoiding her. And even if I was avoiding her, I wasn't avoiding her because of respect or fear. It was more of I don't want to get dragged in her bullshit.
That's political
Um,
savvy. Yeah.
yeah. Because after meeting with her, I was just like, I'm out. So I don't know. Yeah, I couldn't really think of anybody because of other characters that Ginny has met so far, outside of the warning of don't go near Portia. I mean, she would avoid Annabelle by proxy because of that, of course. Especially now that she knows for sure that like Portia is up like Annabelle's ass after Isabella, or Isabella came back and was like, "Yo, Portia was there." So
So I have a question for you, Jenny, on that one that goes with that. Now that the last season finale, Razule said she runs House of Lilith.
mhm.
Are you going to avoid her, or is that something you're going to dive into? I'm curious.
I haven't decided yet. Being truthful, there's
That's
part of
fair.
me that there's the part so the player is like fucking dive into it because it's more story, because I feel like it's helpful to have story threads in general, because you need story stuff. So I'm not always going, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. um the character is kind of torn in a multiple ways, and so it's kind of that thing of like she'll probably end up there sooner rather than later, simply out of curiosity, because she wants to see if it's like a crossed wires kind of thing, or if it is what her the voice in the back of her head is saying it is. So
So that leaves Lamar. Your turn.
Now, I mean, as much as we all know, Lamar is here for all the smoke. The thing, Portia, I mean, is the default answer, but like he has not. Now he has not pursued the thread with his wife yet because he hasn't figured out how to kill her. Anybody he's avoiding right now is someone he hasn't figured out how to put in the ground yet, or
Alexa, your wife.
Alexa, Nero. And with Nero, it's more of a we don't spend time together because one of us is going to die the longer we're exposed to each other. And it's like, I've got 12 bullets. And are you, yes, you're worth one of the bullets, but you're not worth the cleanup that comes after. So,
You're not worth Ian Carfax showing up.
exactly. So, yeah, those are, those are the individuals that Lamar would like to see dealt with, but he's just waiting for the right time. So he's taking that page from Jackie and trying to plot this out.
Roscoe may have forgiven you for that raid on the Chantry. Ian Carfax would not have.
He might have some problems. I mean, even Helena might have something to say when she realizes who her child is running around with. And That's going to be
That's going to be an interesting scene.
yes.
Roscoe's going to have to convince her that Lamar is not the man she saw during the war,
Mm-hmm.
or that what happens in a war isn't personal, it's a war.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to that scene, not going to lie.
Yes.
Did everyone answer? Okay, just making sure everybody got their chance. All right. Demon asks, does Lamar have any plans to get some pets, i.e. enhanced Rottweilers? Well, I mean,
There's no animalism.
he
so
has
it's
no
pretty tough.
animalism or animal kin, so that's not going to happen.
I was like, I can answer that with no.
No.
Hey, I've made the joke that Nicholas is entirely fine with getting himself like a zombie dog, but that's just going to end terribly for
You
everybody.
know, with Nicholas and your Hakata powers, we all know what happens in the world of Wraith. Some people are shape changed into animals. It's normally a punishment for them, but it happens. There is the possibility of a ghost dog. Or a
Oh,
ghost, what they call a hellhound, a ghost hellhound. That
I have
you can make deals
thought,
with.
I have thought about things with that again, it's just terrible life decisions for Nicholas.
But it's great story decisions. I'm still waiting for that magical question that we know Lance forgot about.
So why does Shanky have a no fun policy at the table?
Okay.
I told you I was on it.
Here it is. I'm going to explain it. This is World of Darkness. It is not World of Sunshines and Rainbows. I will give the players small wins, but you're playing personal horror. The whole point of Vampire is to explore the fact that you can have the best of intentions. You can do every night to try to live the best you can, but you're still a monster. And in the end, everything you touch will go to ash. So enjoy your wins when you get them. You don't get them often because, well, you're a monster playing monstrous things in a monstrous politics game. Kindred Society is Machiavellian and kill or be killed. So you can win short term, long term. You know, eventually you either become like Nero, you become like Lucinda, Ian Carfax, or you become like Theo Bell or Xavier, who loses everything because of what he had to, he sacrificed it all trying to make his clan, to help his clan and to make the world a better place in some ways. So you'll get small wins, but it's always going to turn to ash, all of it, because that's the way I look at World of Darkness. It's, there is a little bit of hope, but it's a short-term hope. It's only ever short-term hope because in the long term, the beast wins. It always wins. There's no way around it.
And Maddox actually made the comment, which is something I have actually said before in various chats with folks, is that Vampire also shows that humanity is the real monsters because Kindred were all human first.
For everything fucked up I've had Kindred do in the game, humans have done some more shit in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at it. Look at some of the shit that goes on. It's not, yeah. Kindred aren't the biggest monsters.
They're not. They're just evolved monsters.
They're more subtle about it.
I was going to say they've embraced the fact that they're monsters. They don't act like they're not.
Right.
Yeah, you think that war in the South Side is directly Capone and Loden telling their people what to do every night? No, they've just unleashed their followers to do what they do best.
Yep.
Murder, kill, and terrorize people.
Yep.
They just stand back and watch it once they set it in motion.
Happen.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Wineka, when he sends his army out, he's not commanding them from the front. He just tells them, go do what you do. And they act like monsters because, well, this is World of Darkness. They're monsters.
Yeah. All right. Does anyone at the table have a question for anybody?
Knowing what you know now, if you could play a different clan, would you play a different clan?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
No, not at all.
And it's funny, Lance, because you were one that wasn't sure about playing a Tremere.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to say something that might get me a lot of heat.
Oh, God.
I think the only thing I would maybe change, like I think I would still in the end do Hakata. I think I would have maybe humored Tremere more.
It's a fun clan to play.
Because I had fun with like the auditions doing
Mm-hmm.
the Tremere. Yeah, and then just like I don't know. I would say that's my only one is like that, but I mean, like realistically, just in the end, all of the clans I picked were very much parts of my personality. Like I'm saying this, I'm literally wearing a Death Tarot t-shirt. Like it's me.
Well,
Um
to be fair to you, Timber Brad, in some cities, Tremere are not what you're seeing in Shanky's version of Chicago.
Yeah.
The climate of the Tremere in my version of Chicago isn't the normal Tremere. You've got a true broken Tremere showing the real effects of the pyramid breaking. You've got a completely factionalized broken house.
Oh, and I think part of maybe that realization for me of being less consistently antagonistic about Tremere, I think also goes back to my experience with the mage game that I played in, just because it and then playing a mage that was not a typical mage. It's this idea of maybe that's why they appeal to me more now, because I like the idea of the Tremere in Chicago. Don't get me wrong, Abraham can go fucking take a sun bath for all I care. But
Tracy's the bomb, though.
I love the idea that there's just this fucking power vacuum that like people like the city is suspicious of them. There's this power vacuum because the person in charge is fucking useless. Because he's got his head up a fucking ancient bitch's ass all the time. Like I think, yeah, that would be my only thing. Otherwise, I love Nicholas the way he's come out. I wouldn't change anything with him. I like that I kind of stuck with the deadpan thing as much as I have. Just because I figure if you're fucking around dead people all the time, like what kind of personality do you have, really?
Social parts have broken down.
Yeah.
Anyone else have any waivers? I mean, I'll tell you, Isabella, or Mischievous Red, you've been playing Toreador quite well. I got to say, you've got that, that hot streak that Toreador get of, you gonna fuck with my things, I'm gonna show you what it really means to fuck with somebody's shit.
I know, and like when I initially went in with the character idea, like it was more on like the artsy aspect too, like the Toreador. But like with the way that the session 0 went down and like being able to like embrace that like revenge aspect to it, it's not something I've like really ever got to do or like been involved with, like that one track like obsession of like I'm gonna fuck your shit up.
I love, we have a very, not gonna say a very standard Toreador in terms of the way she acts, but we've got a non-standard Gangrel. We've got a Ventru that's...
I'd like to talk about
Okay,
Isabella before you move on.
Okay, okay, I'll finish that because it's about each of the way that Isabella's playing her character.
Yeah,
It's dynamic.
I want to say with Isabella, you're doing the revenge artist, which is a concept for Toreador, beautifully. In the lore, because my first character was a Toreador, and I researched Toreador lore extensively before playing her so that I would understand how to play that character. I went not so much revenge artist with her, more so she saw the artistry of politics, of manipulation and persuasions and stuff to get what she wants. So that's the way she went. But when I saw the revenge artist concept consistently in the lore, the most dangerous and the most feared fucking Toreador throughout the lore were the revenge artists.
I mean, look at Victoria Ash's reputation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She's known, people disparage her with harlot, but that's not actually what she's known for. She's known for, you fuck with her,
She will fuck your night
and
up.
you pay.
Mhm.
That's why they find it so amusing they stuck her with a Banu Hakim. in the marriage because of that that difference. But let me go back to what I was saying on it. I love we have a combination of Jackie is an old world Ventrue. She is not a stereotypical American Ventrue. She is a very old world style Ventrue.
And she was embraced in a Toreador city.
Right. And you've got Isabella as a very, as a revenge artist Toreador. But then you get Jenny, who is not the normal gangrel. She's showing that you don't have to be the stereotypical gangrel. You got Roscoe. He's not the stereotypical Ventrue or Tremere. You got Lamar, who's showing, he's showing just the excellence that Lassombra are known for. You know, where it's about being the best at whatever you happen to be doing, to be the best at it, to show that excellence at what you do, you know? And even with his friends, the loyalty of his friends, he's going to go above and beyond because that to do any less, it's not Lassombra.
And I will say, I have played a Cappadocian bloodline Hecata. Timber Brad down there is doing brilliant with a Cappadocian bloodline Hecata.
Yep.
Especially going the Harbinger, where they were Harbinger before becoming Hecata. Yeah, doing it brilliantly.
Mhm.
Absolutely brilliantly.
I just love that mix of showing what you expect from a clan, and then you see ones that aren't what you expect out of the clan. It shows kindred are not all the same. They're not all exactly according to trope. Each one has their own differences in personality, and each one, some of them are, you see the essence of the clan in some of it. I mean, you see Jenny's gangrel, her loyalty and the willingness for the pack, kind of an idea, but she's not the standard gangrel. You see the scholar in Roscoe, like many Tremere are, but not the structured hierarchical side of the pyramid. You see something, each one is showing their own part of the thing, their own part their interpretation.
You can look at how we play our characters and see that each one was picked by a sire of this clan, obviously for the things we were capable of doing. The lengths we were willing to go to, or what we could make happen in life before we were embraced.
Yep. Any other questions from the cast or the viewers? I'm still waiting on one in particular that I'm going to wait until everyone else is done asking, because it's one that I'm surprised nobody's asked yet. But it doesn't relate directly to this game, so I want to make sure everyone gets.
But I will say, for me, if I could play another clan, you know, it's funny. In the session 0, I went in with Toreador as my first choice, Ventrue as my second choice, and Ministry as my third choice for this character that I had decided that I was going to pursue a concept of. And I could honestly see her being any of those three, depending on how I decided to play her. But as she is right now, no, she could not be a true Toreador. Not really. She's very much Ventrue. She's just Ventrue of a different flavor compared to the American Ventrue. But she cannot be Ministry now. She is like completely not just immune to fucking corruption, she's fucking abhorrent of it. So she really could not play Ministry. But had her life gone a little bit differently prior to Embrace, she could have easily been any of those. But would I play her as something different now? After playing her for 50 freaking sessions plus bonus content, no, she's straight up Ventrue.
Anyone else got questions?
Mr. Nicholas, question. How much to touch the tablet?
Oh, I don't think Roscoe's going to leave the tablet out in the front now that he knows it's from the first city of Enoch.
Roscoe probably doesn't. He's probably just like, it's been fine so far.
It's in the back room now. Still right in the open. It's just laid on a shelf in the back room.
Whatever. All I know is Nicholas has access to Roscoe's shop. I'm pretty sure. I'm just looking for the ballpark figure of how much I need it cash. I need to liquefy so I can bring in and be like, all right, here's that briefcase. Let's go see what happens. So
avoid.
I am just saying that Nicholas has 3 dots in resources, so more than that.
So about tree fitty.
I think it would take someone telling Nicholas, where that tablet comes from. Because the
Oh,
city of Enoch is in the underworld.
yeah, that might actually be it. It might be free. It just might be Roscoe saying the wrong damn thing around it.
Well,
It's very clear
okay.
that Roscoe's
For those that
thinking
don't
about
know
it
the
right
history
now.
of World of Darkness and where it ties with Wraith, the first city of Enoch was actually located in the underworld. Cain established it originally in the real world, but when everything went on, it was moved into the underworld. So it exists as a place in the underworld. Until later events, it was part of what caused the Sixth Great Maelstrom was, dealing with Enoch and everything else. It was a culmination of events. So yeah, it is actually there. So yeah, because in our game, the Sixth Great Maelstrom happened, but it didn't destroy everything. Now I know somebody in the Twitch chat right now, somebody is curious. I hear Rylin typing away at something. Not sure what she's typing away. It's terrifying.
It was a Zoom chat thing.
Okay. I know there's the questions coming up. I know somebody in this Twitch chat's thinking, what's next for Shanky? You want to know what it is? You might want to be on our Discord. Because guess what? It just posted. Check the casting couch. Let me give the Twitch just for those here. I have just opened up a new casting call, everybody, for Demon the Fallen.
Woohoo!
Yep. Talking about the
Oh,
underworld.
yes.
Yep. Demon the Fallen casting call is now open. I know a number of people were curious about and been bugging me about in our weekly Zoom chats, which we do for members of the Discord. We hang out once a week, either Friday or Saturday, depending on the week, with members of the Discord. So that's a reason to join our Discord. You can come hang out in Zoom chat. And if you don't think the Zoom chat doesn't get filled with people asking questions about the story and why you did things or talking about the Windy City game and the other streams, you're wrong. It happens a lot. Yeah, quite a bit. We talk about all kinds of subjects and some of them are stream related.
Mm-hmm.
And my inbox is now filling.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm one of them.
I am too.
Yep. It's filling. So that was something some people were aware was coming today. And yeah, we're going to be doing it. Demon the Fallen, everybody. Coming soon to a stream near you. Any other questions from everybody? I mean, we're right at just over the almost 2.5 hours, which is about where we normally like to end these.
Yeah.
It's a little bit, actually a little longer, but we had a long question in the beginning, which was needed. So if I don't see any other questions, I think we're going to go and talk about our outro real quick.
Mm-hmm.
An announcement right off. Viewer vote. The viewer vote will no longer be continuing into season 6. You won't be doing viewer vote. We're going to be having the cast will be discussing who they think deserves extra XP based on the scenes behind the scene. We will announce it to let people know who got the bonus XP, but it's not going to be handled by the viewers. We felt we had to pester too many people, and it kind of got annoying constantly tagging everybody with everyone to try to get votes. And it's just easier on people who don't want to mute our Discord to not be spammed with more everyone's like that. So
Right.
we're not going to be doing that anymore.
I don't like having to hound people to get them to engage.
Yep. So, but Chi-Town chat will still be open on the Discord, so you can talk about
Absolutely.
the game.
Please, we would still love for you. After a session airs, go to Chi-Town Chat and Discord and post what you enjoyed most about the session. We love getting that kind of feedback from you, to hear what you really enjoyed and what you would love to see more of based on what you saw in the session. We love getting that because that helps encourage us to keep playing the stories that you want to see played.
Mm-hmm. And if you want to support other great content creators, guess what? We're going to put in chat right now the list of friends that we like. These are other streamers because we love shouting out other people here that we support what they're doing. One of them sitting right here in the middle. You can go check Mischievous Red on her channel. Ravenous Archon, he's on his channel. I bring him up because he's running the Mage game that is going to be starting in March. Mage Ascension. It'll be on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. So check out his too. Oh, yes, you. Too bad you weren't paying attention earlier because Ravenous Archon there, I think you would make a great mage in Windy City for a memoriam shot. I think you and somebody else playing as Tracy could talk to Decker. Because you are our resident mage guru in a lot of ways.
Thank you for the bits,
Thank you for
anonymous
the bits.
donator.
If you
because-
want to support the channel,
Yep.
you can give us a subscribe here on Twitch. You can give us a follow on Twitch. Twitch is a pimp. They take half. So we have a KoFi set up. You can pop over to KoFi and you can donate through there. But tips and donations, tips and bits, they go to the players, not to Relin or I. So if you want to support the studio, subscribe or go to KoFi. If you want
Buy
to,
Mama a Starbucks over on coffee.
yep. If you want to support the players, bits and donations go to them. It's just our way of giving back because for those that don't know, it is not free for us to run these streams. Not just for the studio, but for the players. The players have to buy outfits. There's gear, lights. The players don't exactly get out of it for free either. We all have expenses to do this kind of thing. We just do it because we love it.
Thank you for the raid, Aubrey's variety stream.
Thank
We
you for the
appreciate
raid.
it.
You get
and
here
thank
just
you
as
for
we're
the
ending up.
bits, Demon. Appreciate you.
You were just getting done our live cast Q&A from our vampire stream.
Yep.
Matter of fact, we're about to go over the schedule. And then a hype train.
And a
right as
hype
we're
train
leaving.
at the end.
Wow.
Thank you, Gal, so much.
If you want to get some cool merch, we've got studio merch. Check it out over there. There's the merch link. I'm going to let my wife do her schedule because that's, we got some raiders in here. Find out what we're doing. We got some
Okay,
cool
let me
stuff
make sure
coming.
you covered it. No, you didn't cover YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Catch our back episodes. Good Lord. We have so much back episodes. It is crazy. Between the 5 seasons completed of Windy City, the in-between season content, the werewolf, the mage, the changeling,
The Wraith.
the Wraith the Oblivion. That was, a lot of people came and found us through our Wraith.
Mhm.
You can pop over and if you like Chronicles of Darkness, some of y'all do, you can go and catch that over on the Haunted Chronicles. That's, they streamed it here, but they run their own channel on YouTube for that. Curse of Strahd, we have that over there. And then of course, Call of Cthulhu and more D&D is Israel. Those are people who stream with us and they have their own channels for their stuff.
Show your biddies for these players, for real. Show your biddies for these players.
Yep.
We are at a hype train level 3. Let's see if we can top it out.
Yep. So, and now my wife can do the schedule because we've actually got a busy week coming.
We do. All right. So thank you so much for joining us for our live Q&A for season 5 of Windy City After Dark. In chat, if you scroll up a bit, and I'll actually post it again, you can catch all our back episodes if you are new to our channel on YouTube. It is on the McStabber Studios YouTube. You can check it out there. We have season playlists for our Windy City After the Dark campaign. So do check it out there to get caught up if you would like to. We also have season summaries done by our storyteller, my husband Shanky, where he does them to give a summary of each season. So it's kind of like the Cliff Notes. It tells you all the important events and plots that happen during the season so you can catch up quickly.
And I do them in character
and he
as
does
your
them
boy
in
Twitch.
Yep, he does them in character as a Malkavian that is the information guy of our stories. So coming up over the next week, we have tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, D&D 5e, Curse of Strahd, Tormented Souls, run by Tamshu. That will be streaming. I'm telling y'all, seriously, they are having issues in Barovia, for real. Issues. So y'all need to tune in and check that out because I'm not sure everybody's going to survive this at all.
Dwarf got almost fingered to death.
Yeah.
It was a finger creature and it attacked him. It was pretty bad.
Wow.
Yeah, it was bad. On the 22nd, I, Mama McStabber, will be running a one-shot at 8 p.m. Eastern of Bedlam Hall, a depressing TTRPG made for horrible people.
And to make it
I'm just
extra-
kidding. It's actually hilarious and dark and twisty and crazy. It's basically if you took V.C. Andrews and Downton Abbey and added it with some very strange and obscure gallows humor, that's what you're getting with Bedlam Hall. It's set in the late Victorian period, just after right around the First World War, in England, in the countryside, and all my players are going to be playing house servants of a very rich, noble family that is very, very strange.
It's going to be horrifying because Shanky's going to be in a French maid's costume on stream.
If you don't deliver now, I'm coming.
Oh, I have
for
the
you.
outfit.
All right. And then let me actually go here to see what else we have. Hang on just a second. All right.
Saturday.
Then Saturday, we do not have a stream, but what we are doing Saturday in our Discord community, we are doing a Blood on the Clock Tower community game. This is done through Zoom and Discord chats for the nighttime information that you get. It is the group gets together on Zoom. You do not need to have a camera for this. You just need a microphone if you don't have a camera. If you have a camera, please use it. Please use it because it's a social deduction game. But the nice thing about this one is when your character gets executed, you can still play because you can still communicate with other players and you have one vote that you can use before the end of the game as a ghost.
It is ultimate werewolf / mafia / secret Hitler style game, but better.
Mm-hmm. And Shanky there runs it, and it may be running 2 sessions on Saturday starting in the afternoon. So join us on Discord and get signed up in
Next Clock Tower
next Clock Tower game.
Mm-hmm.
For that.
Can I just real quick?
Mhm.
I hate social deduction games, and I fucking love this game. Like I don't know how else to tell, like, to give a recommendation, but I absolutely fucking hate this style of game, and this game is amazing.
You just like seeing me die right off because
It's
bonus points.
It's an interesting game. You have, the town folk that are basically the good team, and then you have a demon and minions of the demon that are the evil team, and then you've got the kind of neutral that are outsiders that could go either way.
It's a fun game. So you sign up for that. It'll be at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Yep, 3 p.m. Eastern. And then we are back here on Sunday. Hang on.
Yeah.
The
5 p.m.
27th. I know. I was trying to look up the date. My calendar went away. Sunday, the 27th at 5 p.m. Eastern with Windy City After Dark, Stories of Windy City. It is a one-shot that is going to basically be tied to our season 5 finale. The neonates in Cretius's school, the night Tasha ran to Jenny.
Mm-hmm. You're going to find out.
It's going to be their story.
You're going to find out how certain events went down that night that you've only heard a little bit about.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
The night of the storm.
And we've got an amazing cast for that. Relin is in it, of course, because I will never deny my wife a seat at the table to play with me.
I won't be playing Jackie. I'll be playing a totally different character. Yep. Mama's going to play a Nos.
Yep. We got Comic Book Joker. We've got Junie Von Esch from over on the RPG table. Both of those are from the RPG table.
Mm-hmm.
Tabarish. Zeddy is going to be, it's going to be a dumpster fire of fun and horrifying consequences.
Yep. So that is our week coming up. So we hope you'll tune in for the streams that interest you the most, and do join us over in Discord so we can talk about games and everything under the sun. Thank you so much.
And as we always do on this channel, please, everybody, take mental health seriously. We take it seriously, and you should too. Check in on your friends and family and those around you, even people that you're not as much friends with. Make sure they're okay, because a lot of people aren't okay. And sometimes they just need somebody to listen, to give them a helping hand, to be that rope that they need to get off the cliff. And if you do suffer from mental health issues, like many of us do, first of all, it's okay to not be okay. There's nothing wrong with suffering from mental health issues. We all go through ups and downs in life, and talk to those around you. And if you can't, look in chat right now. We have the names and numbers of people you can contact that will talk to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And if you're not in the U.S., because I know we have a number of viewers who don't live in the U.S., you can actually go to a website that we have a link to right now. And that website will show you the support network in your country, because mental health is health, people. And we can't all do it by ourselves. So we need help getting through life. And we want you to all be here. Whether you watch our stream or not, we want you to be here. So we do this every time, and it's that important to us. And then I'm going to turn it over to my wife because there's something else that's important.
I, Mama McStabber, Relandair, am a registered nurse. So is Timber Brad down here. And we're going to tell you, please get your vaccinations.
Get your
Please.
damn shots.
Please. COVID's still a thing. So please get your COVID vaccine. If you have gotten fully vaccinated at least 6 months ago, you are eligible for a booster. Please get your booster. It is still technically flu season. Please get your flu shot. Please. Because flu still kills people too.
Yep.
So get your flu shot.
We're just trying to get through it all, people. We
Mhm.
want to go back to having parties and having fun. And as somebody who's at risk, I'm in the risk category. I have COPD. COVID's a death sentence for
As
me.
Astral said, the COVID vaccine almost assuredly saved my mother's life.
Mhm.
Please get the shots.
COVID is a death sentence for me.
Mhm.
So that's why I take it seriously.
Everyone in our household is fully vaccinated
Mhm.
and will soon fully be boosted.
Yep. So please get your shots.
Mhm.
And from the cast of this amazing show, and as storyteller, as I say this at the end of every season, I love my cast. I am blessed with an amazing cast of players. And I really love the community we've built around our shows. So please, everyone have a good night.
And thank you so much for the level 5 hype train,
Yep.
y'all.
And for the subs and the bits. And we can't wait to see you for the one shot next week and then the season summary. And of course, season 6. So I thank you all for coming.
Yep.
Good night,
so,
everybody.
Yep. So
Good
in
night,
2
everybody.
weeks, season 6 starts.
That's right. Well, 3. Technically.
3.
2 and then season. Yeah.
Yeah,
3.
because we have Sunday
Math
summary.
is hard, people.
So 3. I'm sorry. 3 weeks.
Yep.
My bad.
So good night, everybody.